And we're back with Ron, and we have another question from a member. They asked, Ron, when did you first receive contact with the Alliance? Did it happen through meditation, sleeping, or something different?
That's a good question. And the simple answer, it wasn't through meditation, sleeping, or something different. Um, I had to mature in my own way so that I could know that I am communicating with the heavens, with the alliance. And it took, I've been receiving for about 30 years, but not to the extent that I have been lately, and certainly not to the extent that I have when I was receiving the information about Loved One Society. Um, you have to grow and mature on a personal basis. I didn't have anybody telling me what I what's the next step or whatever. I I think things through in my mind. Now, see, it's a little different for me, not from other people, but because Loved One Society is something that is, I am the overseer of Loved One Society, and so um, I wanted to have a project or a way that I could fulfill my projects that I want to do. And so Love One Society was my project. That's the way that it started. I was not intending to share it with other people. I was doing it on Dinar Chronicles, posting it on there. And I had not yet, but I had a friend who said, "Why don't you share it with other people? Because it's a computer, uh, and if you're not using it, they can use it, and of course they can use it at the same time." So I thought, well, that makes sense. How many people would want to do that? Well, it started to grow. Um, I thought it was really good when I got 124 people that wanted to share with it, and it grew from there. And as more people got involved, there was more polishing to it. To the point it took about 6 years to actually bring it to where it was a functional thing. And there was a time when I was thinking of other things that I could put into it, and then the ideas would come, and I would set it all up. And so I was receiving my information from the alliance, from my higher self, through my inner guidance system. Um, I always had a propensity towards receiving revelations because I knew that that's where I wanted to be and I wanted to do. And I had some friends that did the same thing, and so it kind of helped to have in the mouth of two or three witnesses shall every word be established. So I'd receive something, and then ask them about it, and they'd receive on it, and it wasn't as if I was wrong and they were right. If there's a conflict, it's we just need to discuss it and then come up with a better solution that we could both go ahead and inquire about. And so that's how it all worked out. It gets now to the point where um, people are asking me, well, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? We got together and we think you shouldn't use the holding accounts because people will get too much money. Well, I say, well, what did you receive when you inquired about it? Well, I didn't inquire about it. Well, then go inquire about it. If you're going to come back and tell me that I'm wrong or that Jesus doesn't know what he's talking about, And that's a simple little thing. If you have some opposition to what I'm receiving, I'm willing to listen, unless it's somebody that's just trying to tear me down. But you better be coming to me with some authority. And the only authority that I recognize is those who can receive revelations from God, from the higher source. And so um, it took time. And I'm not saying that it takes everybody will take time to do that. I think it will come to those who have a calling to that they're here on this earth for a specific purpose and to fulfill that purpose. I think many are called, but few are chosen. Why are they not chosen? Well, they haven't learned how to receive revelations yet. Well, how do you receive revelation? Well, that's not my problem. That's your problem. You go and inquire about it. And if you have problems, then uh, ask more. The voice of the Spirit is not hard to hear. It's not a loud voice. You'll think it's just your imagination talking to you, but that's how it comes through. I don't know that I have a real good imagination, but it's sufficient to be able to receive what I need to know about Love One Society. And I would like to, uh, I would like to get informed, and I complain because they don't tell me ahead of time what's going to happen. And I say that's not fair. Other people are hearing these things, and it seems to be happening. And they said, well, there's things that are happening that it might sound like they know what they're talking about, but the reality is that what they're bringing out is not the pure truth, and the pure truth is that which will be validated through time. And so I stick with my guns. I stick with what I have received, and I stick with what I know to be true. And the Alliance knows that I will do that. If they didn't know that I would do it, then I wouldn't get what I'm getting or have gotten. So, are you qualified? Does it, have you done sufficient um, preparations and shown that you are worthy to receive these kinds of revelations, if you want to call it that, or alliance talking to you as voice of the Spirit? If you receive something and you don't uh, follow through on it, then why should they give you any more? A lot of people don't think that they try and it doesn't work out for them, so they quit. Well, I wouldn't quit. I needed this information for Love One Society, and I needed to fine tune it to the point where I really felt comfortable with what I had received. It took time. Now, are you going to be able to do that in a very short period of time? I don't know. Took me a long time, but I hope that time quickens for you, so that for other people, so that they don't have to go through all of the stuff that I had to go through. But if they do, it's because they didn't believe in what they were receiving. They would hear the voice of the Spirit, so that's just my imagination talking to me. And I'm saying, well, that was your answer. That was the voice of the Spirit talking to you. And you shut it down. So why are they going to continue doing it if you just keep shutting them down? Believe what you're doing. I, doubt not, fear not, but be believing, and all things shall work out for the best good of those that love God. I live by that. I don't doubt things. I believed in them. I let them be true for me. Unless there's some reason that I come across that makes it not true or creates a question in my mind. But I don't present the questions in my mind. My inner guidance does that. if there's something that I'm not quite getting yet. And I've gone back to the drawing tables a number of times, a lot of times, because it had to be perfect from what the alliance process is. And if they didn't have such a strict concept about the redemption appointments and all this sort of thing, if they weren't so strict about it, it's not a big deal. But this, you're getting quintillions or whatever uh, SKRs and millions, yodillions, whatever it is that you're getting, and that's important for you to understand all of those things. How do you understand it? You study it. I when I started getting some of these larger bonds, I felt guilty about spending so much time with them, and then I inquired about it, and I said, "You need to know this stuff. So don't be afraid to get involved and do all your research and everything you feel like you need to do." What's the difference between a yodillion and a zettillion? Well, I can tell you right now, I had to study it. Yodillion is 24 zeros, and a zettillion is 23, 20, excuse me, 21. It goes into increments of three. I had to learn all that stuff. It's hard to say the word yodillion. I mean, it flows off my tongue, but it took me a long time to be able to do it. You need to know what you're doing. You need to study. You need to let the Spirit work on you, allowing it to be so. And then when it does, you allow it to be true. And if you allow it to be true for yourself, then that becomes your operating process. And so that's what I had to do. A lot of people just want the SKRs and I got 3 or 4 emails today. Well, the RV is going to take place real soon, and I don't know how I'm going to get my appointment. Are we going to have redemption centers somewhere that I need to go to? I was told that Wells Fargo is the place to go to get your redemption or your exchange of currencies. And you need to talk to the big people, their wealth managers and all that sort of stuff. They call the wealth managers and wealth managers. I don't know what you're talking about. So where did they get that information? Not from the Wells Fargo. They just made it up. And I wrote back to him and I said, if you continue to listen to these people, you will still be um, frustrated. You won't know what to do. Go back and read what I have received from the Alliance. Those documents in there all are a rubber, not a rubber stamp, but a stamp of approval from the Alliance. That's the only way that I will publish a document is when I have received validation on it. Okay. Uh, the answer to the questions is it wasn't through meditation, sleeping, or something. It was something different, yes. It took a long time, and we just don't have that much time for you to be messing around with somebody else's talk. If you want to do that, then mess around with it and see if you get an alliance appointment. The alliance will contact you in their own way, and it will be very, very personal to you. Is it going to be an 800? Hell no. 800 numbers are easy to take over, so they don't use 800 numbers. They publish an 800 number and it'll be overwhelmed so much you can't get through. The alliance will contact you. Those are the things that you need to understand. Loved One Society is not a haphazard. I can listen to a whole bunch of people and get all that I can from everybody else. and I'm still confused. And so they come and ask Ron Giles what to do. Go back and read the documents that I have prepared. If you want to know about the redemption appointment, go read the redemption appointment preparation in the documents that I have put on qfs2020.com. That's your only way to figure it out. And the more you spend listening to other people instead of studying yourself, then the harder it's going to be for the alliance to allow you to have funds. So I'm saying that as a kind of a warning, and I'm also saying that that's the way the alliance works. Do it the alliance way, or it's their money. And if you want their money to do your humanitarian work, you better be in line and in harmony with the alliance. Okay, that's enough for that. Let's go ahead to the next question.
Thank you, Ron. I know that info is very helpful for everybody. And we will
I
be
hope
right
so.
back with the last question.